M0FXB. Welcome to my videos on the Hotspot face monitor by Mike 3 Uniform Romeo Echo. That's Robert that you can see there on the left. It picks up the information from your hotspot and puts it on a color screen, even if your hotspot has not got a screen. Okay, so you don't actually have to have a screen on your hotspot to do this. So W0CHP has created the WPSD project. So I'm just going to download it and then you'll see what that's about. There are full instructions for you to follow by W0CHP, but I'm just going to dive in and do this. So the first thing we're going to do is we have got instructions there installing WPSD. So follow these, please. Okay, it's all there. If we go back one, so I'm going to go straight into the download section. I'm going to click download, and the top one is the image that I want. I've got myself, and I formatted an SD card that I've plugged into my PC, okay, on just the usual stick here. And let's click download on the image. Move me out of the way, just here. And that's downloading to my download folder. Just to make sure I've put my SD card in the computer, and I'm going to format it. So we've got a nice clean SD card there. Download Berliner Etcher. We're going to use this to install the image. So now we extract the file that was from WPSD, that is WPSD, into a folder so we can find it. I've got it here on my desktop, WPSD. Flash from file, go to that file which is on my desktop. Under WPSD, I gave that folder a name. Just find it here. There it is there. And there's the image. Double click. Then we select the target, which is our SD card. And you can use one, I think 8 GB will be the smallest one. Here's my one. Select and flash. And it's going to burn that image, let's call it, to that card. And when the card's in the hotspot, in the Pi 0 W2 that I've got, it will boot from that. I'm going to add my Wi-Fi details here in as well, so it boots up and it connects to my Wi-Fi router or my broadband router. Now if you look here, they have W0CHP Radio have provided a Wi-Fi config file generator, which is very handy, and it's recommended that you use their one with their software. So we click that, and then we're just going to put up here my username of my broadband router at home and my password, and it's also got our the country here, and it's showing the operating system, which I've now put in, and I'm going to select the country as well. Cool. United Kingdom. I noticed, and I've not chose this before, it's letting me choose Trixie and Bookworm and Bullseye. So Bullseye to me and the word Bookworm are Raspberry Pi operating systems. So that's interesting. So I'm going to choose, just let it go default with the new version there. And of course I'm learning, please remember that. And then I'll click generate file, download the config file, and it's going to give you that. Put it into your downloads folder. Then we go back to our Berliner Etcher. It's flashed the SD card, which is great. I'm just going to unplug it from my PC and plug it back in just so it shows up in the drive here. Just ignore where it says fix the problem. Go to your file explorer. So we go right click, file explorer, and just find your SD card. So mine is just, where is it? There it is there, boot. Okay. And then now go open another file explorer. So right click, file explorer. Let's make sure you can see this, because I know I got my face in the way there. And look for that file that was just made called, where is it? Downloads. We're looking for the, you just search. It's called, here it is here. It's got Mercury, which is my broadband username, but then it's got an .nm connection. So I'm just gonna click that and drag it and let go of it into my SD card. And then there it is there. And so hopefully I can now take it out of my SD card adapter, grab my hotspot, and there's obviously more configuration to a hotspot than what we've done so far, because you might have a different board on the top. We've got the Pi 02 at the bottom, which is effectively a computer that's going to be doing all the work to connect the, let's call it a radio board that passes through digital, that connects it to the internet and lets you connect all those rooms. So I'm just going to put the SD card, if you can see it, into the Pi, it's the bottom part, the Pi 02. Yeah, so that's all in there. And this board actually has antennas soldered to the top. It's actually a dual hotspot MMDVM board. If you've got any digital radio and you're not using a hotspot, you're crazy, because this is like having a hotspot, your own repeater at home, literally. All right, the distance between the radio and your repeater on your table is close. It's still radio, but otherwise I would be using a repeater on a hill. But you know, repeater on the hill is for everyone to change and to link to and unlink and all that kind of stuff. But it can only handle so much traffic. Where your hotspot, you can do what you like because it's your repeater, and that's why you have to get a hotspot. So what I'm going to do is just add some power to this one, and let it boot up and show you what happens. But we should be moving in the right direction. So if you look here, oh, you missed it. It did say WPSD is booting. I'm going to unplug it and do it again, like so. I want you to see it boot up. I always think these softwares are amazing. Low cost way of basically connecting your radio, you know, to the world. There you go. Okay, of course we need to configure it. Let's see if I can find it. You can use something like Angry IP to search your network. Just Google Angry IP. But I just go into my broadband router and look for it there. Ah, see, this is when the software is doing some good work for you. It's given me the IP address already. I don't have to search for it. So let's put that into my browser. So now we're going to start configuring node call sign. So I'm going to go M0FXB, DMR number 2341437, NXDN. I'll have to look that one up, but I do have one. I'm going to do it similar, so although this node will do duplex. Then we've got to find the node, the board that we're using. I'm pretty sure I can just use the one that I always use, but I might have to double check. If I start, just type STM, which is the one, pretty sure. Let me just double check the board I'm using. So if you're not familiar, the board that it's asking for is the top board. It's the MMDVM hat that we use. So although that board can do both, I'm just going to select single for now. DV Mega Raspberry Pi hat single button. Let me just double check. I need to make sure. Yeah, I'm going to go for MMDVM HS hat DB9 MAT, because I'm pretty sure that white board that we've got, okay, is that. Now, I've got a DV Mega hotspot here. I could test it on that as well, but I could make another SD card as well. But please remember, you know, I'm not here teaching you how to use this system. I am Andres in my shack, learning and tinkering with my personal devices and enjoying myself. I'm not a developer, and I've had nearly 30 million views doing that from you people. So it must help others as well. But I am a tinkerer and a learner. So, okay, I'm just going to, at the top here, it's very clear it wants us to apply those changes. I'm just going to quickly scroll down, time zone, find the UK. So I've put in GB, English UK. I haven't changed anything here where it says modem port. Isn't that the kind of screen you're going to use? But anyway, let's keep going. And DMR ID. Why is that different? That's not correct. 2341437. There you are. Let me find I can find my NXDN number. I just go to radioid.net, and that's where you can get your CSV files for your DMR radios as well by just clicking database, then data dumps, and it'll download the latest one down here, user CSV, and that's your CSV file for your radios with all the contacts on. So maybe it remembers me from previously using it because it's you know, it knew it was right, 2311. So anyway, longitude, latitude, let's get that in there as well. There's loads of sites giving this with loads of adverts, but yeah, just put in my GPS coordinates into Google. That's it, coordinates are in. APRS gateway, country, URL. You can put one in, town. I'll leave it for now, see if it automatically does it. DMR mode for now, but look, you've got D star, P25, NXDN, there's POXAG here, so more modes there. Other MMDM, it's CWID. Okay. Let's keep looking. Longitude, latitude, radio modem, select APRS symbol. I'll just leave that as WPSD default. Says here URL. Okay. Please fast forward if you get bored. I'm sort of learning as I go along here. 24-hour and 12-hour clock. Going down. We've already turned on DMR for now. And then look on the right here, you've got DMR Plus, free DMR, HP Link, custom DMR system, and TGIF, which is one that a lot of people ask for. TGIF. I use Brownmeister, so I'm going to need to put my password in there, I would say. Cross modes. Remember that you can cross mode DMR to Yaesu and Yaesu to DMR if you have those radios, which is very handy, I think. MMDVM display type. I'm going to leave it as none because the whole point of this video at the moment is to see if this will pick up the information from the IP address and put it onto this thing here. But it's also a good way of reminding myself to use the this system. But look, otherwise, look, you choose here OLED screen, Nextian screens, and so on. Okay. And there's a whole learning to that if you start using ones that have built-in drivers, etc. Brightness, scrolling, and you've got tick boxes here when you've enabled it. Rotate display, invert display. Very handy that that's all there on the dashboard. Firewall is enabled. And then here I can add, you can see I've already added it because it picked up the file that we put in, didn't it? So it's got all my Wi-Fi stuff there. It's connected nicely. Okay. Right, I'm going to click apply changes. Grab, I'll tell you what I didn't do, and that is put in my frequency. So when it reboots, I'm going to grab my DMR radio, which I've got here, Anytone 878. Probably the radio that I would recommend the highest, because it pretty much does everything, even though it's dual monitor, not dual receive, like the 578, which is the mobile version, but it does everything. There's loads of people out there that have got what we call code plugs, and that is a load of channels that you can put into your stuff without having to learn how to use and program DMR straight away, because it is hard. The other one I really like is the D168, the smaller version of this, because it's really good value for what you get. But this is if anyone ever says to me, what DMR radio should I get, and they want to spend over £200, I always say Anytone 878. And these days, you buy yourself an open spot, you can cross mode to D Star and Fusion as well. Yeah, I recommend it. I've gone back in and told it to use the OLED screen. Apply. And it is, you know, it's up there. It has applied, but I think I've got a couple more settings yet before my radio actually hears it. But you can see there WPSD, and with the IP address, which is very handy. Now going down, I'm going to choose. I noticed that I needed to choose Brandmeister. So back down, Brandmeister UK is the one I use, and you can search it. UK, no, United. There it is, and I need to get my password. So you do need your password from Brandmeister, and to get that, create your account with Brandmeister and then put a password in. So, you know, if you think, well, what is Brandmeister? So imagine that all these talk groups are in a computer in your house. Everyone's joining to your computer in your house. That's a server. So all these talk groups have to be provided by different servers. So that's why you've got TJF and Brandmeister and FreeDMR and all the other ones you've heard of. Someone, a group of people have taken the time to create these servers and create all these talk groups that you can join to. And that's basically what it is. And some of them use passwords, some don't. Brandmeister do use passwords so that no one can steal your DMR ID. So all you do is once you've got your account, you can actually see your hotspot connected by going my devices just behind me here. Let's show you. Oh, there is there, my devices. Not quite connected yet, but we will be. That's because the password's not been put in. So if you go back here and click M0FXB self-care, and then here I would put my password in here and save, and then your password needs to match that. So I'll just type that in here. As soon as you get that in though, I'm just putting it in. I know this is a lot and it all seems really daunting. And it is for me, don't think it's not. But the way I do this, the way I learn quite complicated things, especially like DMR, is I always do it into small little bite sizes. So I watch this video, I'll watch 1 minute of this video, and I'll do that 1 minute, and I'll keep, if I have to play it 10 times, 20 times, until I get that information into my brain and then onto my hands and computer. That's what you've got to do. Do it in small little bits. The people that are writing all this stuff, it's not that they're clever. That's the wrong word. We're all clever. We're born, all of us are born clever. It's that they've taken the time to do the hard work, to absorb the learning and then do the learning. Yeah, that's all it is. You are clever. We are all super clever. It's just the work. So let's apply the changes again and turn my radios on to the same frequency. And that's the one thing I don't remember doing it, is putting in the frequency of the channel that you have to create in your DMR radio. And that's for another video, but just put in Anytone 878, create channel. Because with DMR, you have the frequency, receive and transmit. You have, this is the thing where it gets really annoying, and that is you have you have to create the talk group number, which is called a contact that you're going to be using. So when you key the mic, it goes into that talk group. Then you need to choose your slot. You've got slots 1 and 2. So imagine the channel is cut in half. That's not exactly how it is, but and then 2 lots of people can use the same channel at the same time. Yeah, that's what slots are technically. Well, not, no, untechnically. Color code is likened to CTCSS. It's like a filter. So you've got to get all this into your channel with your DMR number, and you have to have a DMR ham radio license to get a DMR number. And you've got to package all this, yeah, into the channel, and that's one channel, yeah, for it to work. But remember, once you've done one channel, then you're only changing the talk group, yeah. And then there's also talk group numbers that are commands for disconnect. And so imagine a DMR radio is like an old phone system. Everyone has a phone number. You have a DMR number. Talk groups have a number, like talk group 91 is super popular. So everyone goes there. But it's too busy now. But still good success. And get it. So that's the way it's all piecing together, whether it's Motorola, and whether it's the cheapest DMR radio, and you can get the Bofeng DM1701 now for literally £40 delivered, and it's brilliant, yeah. Or whether it's the £500 Motorola DMR radio, they all pretty much work in the same way. The the nuts and bolts of them. Right, okay, so we're getting there. So now we need to find where we're going to put our frequency. While that was all booting. So let's keep going down. We've got our Brandmeister. We've got our password in there. And that's your network setting. So now I just need to see where I put the frequency of the radio. Oh, it is actually there. Look, so 431. Actually, no, it's very close to mine. Mine is 431550, just here. So the default is 431150. Because you have to have it on the right frequency. You're not going to hear anything because there is an actual radio on these hats, on these Raspberry Pi hats, and not on these hotspots that you buy. There's a real radio on top. That's why you have these 77's antenna there. So we're going to apply, and then I'll pause until it comes back, and hopefully we can hear something. Okay, it's come to life. I'm just going to quickly show you through the settings one last time. Let's minimize me a minute. Not sure if you can hear him in the background. A lot of locals on Talk Group 91. So at the top, call sign, DMR number, frequency, hi-hat that I'm using at the moment, which is working. Location, we can turn on APRS if we want. DMR mode at the moment, but look at all the different modes. Brandmeister and password, DMR number. I don't know if I had to, but I slid here where it says Brandmeister network enable. I did slide that on. I've also done an update. It says here WPS update. I'm going to turn that down. It's very busy. I did that as well. You've got factory reset, backup, restore. It did tell me to back up, which I've done. When you click advanced, and you've got power here, by the way, and admin and dashboard. We'll do that in a sec. So let's just quickly do advanced. And gives you a warning there. Advanced tools, okay. And there's a lot here to look at. If you want to update the firmware, look, modem firmware upgrade and things like that. I'm not going to do that in this one. You can see that massive work has been put into this. It's going through. And if we just go to the dashboard. And of course, you have to thank everyone involved in creating this software. Pretty sure you can, all these colors that you're seeing in the, you can customize. Pretty sure you can do all that. And then we're going to see if our device on the left that we started with will pick up WPSD. But you can see all the flags coming in. It looks fantastic. There's a simple view here. And there's this live caller view. And so you effectively get like a dashboard, you know, like a, well, pretty much like what my device is going to do. And so you could, if you use this address on a different, you could use this browser on your phone, for example. And this is going to be a dashboard on your phone, and still use your computer at the same time to configure all of this. Let's go back. Live caller, that's what we had. Radio info. Okay, so shortcut there, radio info. You've got the frequency, the mode, so some quick information there. Host name, IP address at the top, current profile M0FXP. And yeah, I think we're there. So now I'm going to fire up my device, and you can see the radio's working nicely in the background there. Okay. There you go, there's my radio. So the device that I've got is, I'm going to plug it in, I'm going to factory reset it, and then we'll have a little tinker. So this is the device. To actually factory reset this one, you hold down the top and it factory resets, and then it will get you back to the beginning where you can log into it. Be patient. I think the new model is, it resets in a slightly different way. But anyway, so I've reset it, and then we need to put this, connect to this hotspot interface here, and there's a password. And my eyes are so small, M3URE1512. So if we go to, or just on the left here, and connect to that, and it will be cool. There it is, their hotspot face setup. So connect. So when you connect to this, there's no internet, by the way, when you first connect. There will be once it's configured. But once connected and allow access, I'm going to do that. All I need is the actual IP address. So if we go back to WPSD, you'll see there's the monitor there. This is the sort of setup page. You can do this on your phone. It's a browser. It's not a download. A browser means you just search it. Well, WPSD, if I hover here, there's my IP address, ending 106. So the first thing we do is we're going to click here, scan, connect to our Wi-Fi. When you give it a minute scan, it will search just like your phone does. And then look, select the network of your home and then get your password in there, but also put in the IP address of your hotspot. We've got that in there. I don't even know if this is going to work, to be honest. I'm just going to scroll down and just go save and connect, because I've only tested it with Pi-Star, to be honest. So if it does work, when it reboots on here, all the information on that hotspot will appear. So let's see what happens. It says saved. Okay, so yeah, so I would say that it needs to be specially configured for WPSD, and whether M3 URE can speak to W0CHP, and then it could work, who knows. But I just flipped it back to my normal hotspot, which is on the Pi-Star system at the moment. Just here, which is on Brandmeister as well, and you can see it's completely working fine, picking up all the information that's coming in via my my DMR radio. So definitely check out everything I've been talking about in this video. We have to say thank you to everyone involved, W0CHP Chip, and everyone that's put work into anything I've talked about in this video. Thank you. 7-3, all the best. Please hit the like and subscribe, and if you want to, buy me a coffee. Bye for now.